Right. Well, Robert Downey Jr. got announced as Doctor Doom for Avengers Doomsday and also Avengers Secret Wars. 2 movies. One, do you care about that? We'll look at his payday in a minute, which is just unbelievable. Good for him. Really bad for Marvel because these movies are going to have to earn an insane amount of money. But do you care about him being back as Doctor Doom? Culture?
Yeah.
Yes.
I asked a fucking question. Pay attention.
The film.
Do you care that Robert Downey Jr. is back as Doctor Doom now?
No, I mean, no. I mean, I don't care. I haven't cared for a long time.
I'm asking you a question. I'm talking about the subject, and you're like, "Sorry, what?"
No,
you are doing something else, good sir.
No, I was okay. I'm sorry. I was listening.
Pornhub?
Was listening to you. No, I wish. No, looking at what's going on here, I'm stunned still. I think this was the stupidest move they ever could have done. So to answer it simply, no, I don't care that he's back. In fact, I think it's detrimental the way they're bringing him back.
Yeah, I compared this to a Desperate X trying to overcorrect.
Plus,
and give
yes, that is it.
And, you know, actually, I mean, I think it's a good idea if you have Robert Downey Jr. play this role, and if you'll share what I'm sharing here, you know, he could also throw in, you know, and play T'Challa.
Yeah. I'd be down for that if he played T'Challa.
He could play all of them. Get Robert Zemeckis to direct instead of the Russos and just have him play everybody.
I think that was the point, right? You could just have him be everybody, and you'd have a better movie. He's the only Oscar winner.
He couldn't have played everyone.
You forgot about Brie.
And Brie couldn't have Robert Zemeckis because he actually demanded the Russo brothers come back. So a few things, I guess, about
that's what we learned here.
Yeah, my opinion about Robert Downey Jr. coming back. This could be great, right? It could be great. I don't think it will be. I do think it undoes, you know, a certain element of what came before it, the sort of sacrifice, the universe as it sort of, you know, built up to that sort of ultimate sort of end, etc. This is 100% just desperation from Marvel.
It is.
It is.
I called it Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, will Robert Downey Jr. be a draw? I actually don't think he will be as much of a draw as what people believe he's going to be.
It's going to be a bait and switch of sorts. Sort of. I mean, there's like some comic books that came out that are attached to like Civil War II and stuff where this is being pulled from, obviously. And yeah, it's like some version of Doom who becomes Iron Man basically, and vice versa. It's really convoluted. I don't remember how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's basically signed up for 2 movies, so he's probably going to die in Secret Wars. I think that fine.
Well,
whatever.
The rumor going around, and again, this is a rumor, is that it is a bait and switch of sorts, that we are going to get another actor to play Doctor Doom proper eventually. Multiple actually, but in this case, yeah, this is kind of a bait and switch of a way to get Robert Downey Jr. back into the mix in some convoluted way through, and then they'll just say, well, it was in the comics, you know, but I think it's going to lose the audience. I think you're right, Mr. H. Like I said, it comes off like a Desperate X trying to do everything they can to, you know, to go all out and get you back. And it's like, look, you're just overdoing it at this point. Like, yes, we love Robert Downey Jr., but we don't need him to come back as Dr. Doolittle. Right, like this is not what we're asking for.
Bring him back as Tony again. You probably could get away with it. You cannot.
You just set it up in Deadpool Wolverine. Not to get into spoilers, you pluck him from another universe where he's a loser.
Yeah,
right. Well, like that's the thing where he's not an anchor person. Like that's where they set up this whole anchor person thing now. Okay, fine.
Which was also dumb.
Which we know it doesn't matter because Secret Wars is going to do what? It's going to end up combining everything into one stupid universe anyway, finally.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, look. Yeah, I mean, look, to go back to what I was saying, this is, again, 100% desperation. Because they could have had anyone. They could have had a look, Robert Downey Jr. is an okay actor, right? Yes, sure, he won an Oscar and stuff like that. He's an okay actor. There are significantly better actors out there for the role of Doctor Doom than Robert Downey Jr. That shouldn't be a controversial thing to say, all right? Should not be a controversial thing to say. Very clearly, there are better actors out there.
I said if you're going to bring back anybody, you could have had Mads Mikkelsen, for Pete's sake.
Precisely, right? You could have had so many better people that are much more suited to that, right? And yet they chose Robert Downey Jr. and they had to pay him over $80 million. Well over $80 million for 2 movies. Yeah. Well over.
And it's a good way. They could also have brought back in, what's his face, Fassbender. He'd have made a better one.
Yeah. Not even that.
Christoph Waltz would have been an interesting pick. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
They had to pay the Russo brothers $80 million collectively for 2 movies, right? $20 million each a movie. Okay. But not only that, right? Robert Downey Jr. also had, as part of his perks, private jet travel, dedicated security, and apparently an entire trailer encampment. This guy is
soaking it up.
He's laughing all. I mean, good on him, right? He's negotiated it. Good on him.
Well, look at it this way. He hasn't had any real success up until last year with Oppenheimer outside of the Marvel universe. Dr. Dolittle was the last movie he had that did anything besides a Marvel movie. And Oppenheimer, he got lucky and won an Oscar for. And most guys, when they win an Oscar, there's this, thing where they end up picking a horrible role or a horrible movie afterwards. It never seems to fail. He's going for the safe bet. And he's milking it for all he can. I mean, he strung him along for a long time. We've been hearing rumors about RDJ coming back for how many years now?
Yeah, long time.
And I still think he actually did do a voice for that Ironheart show, because I think he does the voice of the computer.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not mistaken.
The thing is, what this proves, though, undeniably, is it's the buyer's market. It's not the seller's market, right? Marvel didn't have the power in this negotiation. Marvel were desperate for Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And he held all of the power in this negotiation because he's managed to negotiate things that people just don't get. People just don't get them at all. And he's not worth it.
Well, and this Doctor Doom thing might have been part of the equation to where he's like, I want to do something different, right? Like, even though it's not that different, because he even come out and said, new mask, same task. So he's just basically playing a bad version of Tony Stark at the end of the day.
Yeah. But and also, like, literally here, they were the only ones he would work with, Ari, the Russo brothers. So even he knows. My thinking about this statement is even he knows. He's like, these Marvel movies have been going downhill. They're not doing well. If I'm going to do this, I need all of the money, right? And I need everything to make my life easier. And I need at least the people to come back that I worked with before. So at least it's going to have some.
Well, the Russos owe Robert Downey then, because in that case, they've been bad-mouthing Marvel. So Marvel had no real reason to go to them.
Yeah.
And their career hasn't exactly took off since Marvel.
No.
Right? Like, if anything, they've had less luck. Right? So.
But so aside from the enormous compensation that comes along with the giant check they're writing him, there's no money left for the movie.
No,
I mean,
this is going to be a $500 million movie each.
You're $100 million in the hole for the first movie, and you're probably $120 million in the hole for the second movie before you even cast, bring in anybody else, hire staff. The writers, the writer team that they're bringing back in. They cost a buttload of money.
You know what's hilarious about this culture and what I'm seeing here, what's happening is like, ever since post Endgame, their goal has been to replace all the big heroes. Why? One of the main reasons why we've heard money, because they cost too damn much money.
I know.
So now
and
they've done
just pay someone.
Yeah, basically they've destroyed things so badly. Now they've had to go crawling back to those individuals. And Lord knows what, like, even Chris Evans probably made more for Deadpool and Wolverine than he did for any of the Captain America movies, I bet.
I bet you anything.
See, and that's the thing, is like, they're desperate at this point. And you're right. Like, this is like, let's pretend like you had a factory and you have all these workers and you're like, you know what? We could replace all these workers with a bunch of, foreign workers for a lot cheaper. So you get all this foreign help and you fire all the other people that were there before. And then you realize you have a problem. You can't speak to them. You don't speak the same language. And everything goes to hell. Your entire business goes downhill. So now you're left going back to those same workers before that you just fired and trying to get them to come back to work. And it's going to cost you twice as much now just to get them to come back to work. All the money you thought you were going to save, right, by getting these cheaper labor has now gone out the window because you spent 2, 3, 4 times that just to get things back to almost the way they were before. And they're still not fixed, right? So like, that's where they're at, right? It's in this really horrible spot where it's just going to keep costing them more and more money. You know, it was a point where Marvel was the most successful thing that Bob Iger had done. This keeps up. They're going to get to a point where Marvel will no longer have been profitable. It'll be right where Star Wars is, where we're still at this kind of gray area of like, have they really made the money back that they spent on this yet? No. And that's another thing with like Fox, right? Fox in and of itself. Have they made? No, not even close, because they haven't done anything with it. Deadpool and Wolverine is kind of technically the first thing they've done under the Fox banner, true and proper. If you think about it, outside of Avatar and what was the other thing they did? A couple other, they've done smaller things in Prey, but like, yeah, as far as IP, I'm talking about, right? Because any of those movies they could have released under any other banner. But this is the first time they're doing that specifically because of the R rating. And that was the main reason why is they didn't want the Disney banner on an R-rated film. But that being said, it's like, here you are now, you've destroyed all these things that you spent all this money on. And now you're in a worse spot than you were had you just not changed anything, had you just kept going the way you were. And that's what I've said, and all you guys have said a million times over. They could have rolled on this for another decade or so. Easy. Had they not really even changed anything. We could be on Captain America 6 and Iron Man 9 by now.
They completely screwed the pooch on this. It's so funny. So funny. Not only that, the other factor into these things, right, which is a huge rarity. A huge rarity. And I think that they're doing this actually in a way to offset the fees that they're having to pay out. The Russo brothers are also going to be producing these films.
I think Robert is as well. That's the other thing that's come out too, isn't it?
But Marvel doesn't do that. They don't do outside producers.
Well, they didn't do it until they worked with Ryan. Ryan seems to have changed the game.
Well, no, I think it's money.
Right, but what I'm saying is Ryan changed the game when it came to Deadpool, and I think going forward, everybody's going to look for that structure because you know what I
disagree.
You don't think so?
No, I think this is just to offset the cost, mate. You look at the other movies; they won't be externally produced. They won't be a joint production thing. It's just to offset the cost of the amount of money they've had to pay.
Maybe, but one of the reasons they're doing that is because they are trying to stay away from something called back end deals. If they have them as part of the production, do you think they're going to get stuff on the back end written into a contract like they used to have?
The Russo doesn't have back end compensation, but it does have performance escalators.
Right, that's normal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, it's to offset the cost. It'll only be for these two films. It won't be for anything else. I bet you, I mean, I could be wrong, but just my instinct. I don't think.
I think Culture's partially right in that not all of them, like Fantastic Four is not going to be one of these, but like if you have somebody like a Robert Downey Jr. and a specific directors involved, like the Russos or somebody like that, because that's another thing that Feige has hinted at now, is that part of the things that he's admitted that they've made some problems, or they've had problems now and they got to fix them. And one of the things that they said they got to fix is by getting some more veteran and directors back in there. And this goes right in line with that, right? Like with the Russos in that respect. Kind of, in the sense that these guys have made more Marvel movies than anybody else. Keep that in mind. Yeah. And they made the most successful Marvel movies of all. So regardless of how we feel about Endgame, it's still the most successful film of all time, isn't it? Without factoring in inflation. I think it is. So that point,
Avatar? I think it beat Avatar.
Oh yeah, I definitely beat Avatar because I think it's the closest movie to $3 billion, isn't it? Culture, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't remember.
It's the closest to $4 billion.
Oh, it made over 3? Okay.
Let me look it up, but I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I was going to say, it's definitely made more than Avatar. Not with inflation, possibly. But with inflation, we're talking all kinds of crazy shit then. But
no, Avatar 2.9. Avatar was 2.9 million.
Okay, well,
You're right. 2.7. 2.7.
I was going to say it was just under 2.8, but I thought it beat
I
Avatar.
don't know why.
But I think they're counting a re-release in there for Avatar. That's why, because it did beat Avatar when it first came out.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm looking at the number right here. Box office 2.798 for Endgame. So I was even off by a lot.
I knew it was close to 2.8, so I was damn close.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to some of these super chats about this. So Olaf had dropped on a super chat via Streamlabs and says, "My idea is that Doomsday and Secret War will be the grand reset where they reintroduce our fallen heroes with new actors and go on with one universe and ending multiverse. At least that would make sense to me, but you never know with Disney." I agree with that, actually. I do think that's probably going to be the case. I think that's the way to do it. Do you guys agree or disagree?
I think it's probably the way to go. It's the only way to go.
Yeah. We've got Foreign Gamer. Just says, great to be back and watching the stream. Thank you so much. I really did enjoy the Deadpool 3 on premiere night in Bristol. Lots of laughter and smiles. On the other hand, will Cap 4 even pass the 600, 700 million point? Regards. I don't know. I don't think it will. I think it'll be 500 million and that's it, really. I could be wrong, but I reckon it'll just be about 500 million and that's kind of it. Thoughts?
I think it's going to do fine.
What was the question?
Yeah.
Do you think Captain America 4?
Oh, Captain America 4.
600 or 700 million.
I think it'll stick around. I think it'll be like 750 to 775. It'll do fine as far as dollar performance, but it won't be profitable. It'll be underwater probably by $350 million, like every other Harrison Ford movie has been recently.
Like, I don't know if it'll do that well. I think the problem is they don't have anything to bank on, right? Like, and this is why I kept saying don't discount Wolverine. Like, that's a big deal. Having certain other characters pop in are a big deal, and there's nothing here. Nobody gives a crap about Captain African American. Nobody gives a crap about Harrison Ford taking over a character that nobody remembers that William Hurt played in the first place. We've got a Red Hulk, and nobody has any real basis for that. Look, I get it. The comic book and geeks, we know who it is, but I'm talking about the general audience, guys. The general audience has no idea what a Red Hulk is. Okay? So, like, there's nothing in this movie that's getting people to go, oh, I want to see that. Oh, they're finally showing this. Oh, they're finally doing this. Now, if you actually had Chris Evans coming back as Captain America, we'd be having a completely different conversation right now. As it stands, I think this movie will be lucky to do about as good or better than the Marvels. And I'm going to say that because it has zero appeal to anybody.
Yeah, true.
Like I said, name one demographic that it's really appealing to. Because even black guys will sit there and go, well, they fucked Falcon up because he had his own character. And now they're trying to make him Captain America. And I don't like that.
I'm going to have to put some bloody duct tape over your mouth, lad.
I'm sorry. I'm just off the wall today. You were cussing earlier too, so you can't get too mad at me. You're just cussing a few minutes.
I know. I'm trying.
I'll try and watch my cussing a little bit more. I'm sorry. With that being said, like, yeah, I don't think this has any appeal to any demographic whatsoever.
How am I the only one not saying bad words? I mean, it's pretty easy.
You never swear, Culture.
Yeah, we're talking about, you fool. Normal Man.
Detraumatized. I like that, Ola.
Normal Man says Joe Rogan was right about RDJ coming back. Yeah, everyone could see it. Everyone can see it.
Well, and I mean,
Larry Quadowitz has been a member for 36 months. Says, hello, Mr. H and friends. What do you think about RDJ's Doom vocal performance will be like? Will he do a European accent, distorted or pitch load voice? The more time that passes, I feel like it may work. I don't think it's going to work. And I think he will take off a mask and it will be normal voice. And in a mask, it will be distorted voice. That's what I think.
I am Dr. Doomlittle.
Normal Man says, if they got RDJ, why not just bring back Iron Man?
That's probably what it's going to end up being, Norm.
God, yeah. Well, yeah, but as in bring back Iron Man proper is what he's saying, I think. So, which I don't think they're going to do that. He's not going to turn into Iron Man. They're not going to bring him back. As
No, they're
Iron
going to
Man.
bring Iron Man back from another.
We don't.
We don't know this for sure. Speculation
know
that
any
they'll
of that.
probably bring back Iron Man from another world, and because they're going to be facing off. That's one of the comic
A
books.
sequel.
Is you have yeah.
And here's the thing: if they want to go down the road of everybody hates them, all they have to do is bring in Riri Williams to replace him. In this first Avengers.
I think they already know that's not going to work. Culture, or they wouldn't be bringing RTJ back, and they wouldn't be sitting on Ironheart all this time.
Yeah,
True.
that thing's done. It's almost been done for 2 years, and it's not out there anywhere. Yeah, I was like, they really aren't going to ever release this, and if they do, it's going to be one of those Marvel Spotlight bullshits. See, I said a bad word.
I heard it actually connects with something, and that's why they have to release it. But I think they're saving it for that specific thing.